Hi there everybody, welcome to another video. On today's video I have this BMW X1. This is a 2012, the 2-liter D S drive 2-liter D, and I'm gonna be changing the front brake pads in it. So to start, before I get the car up, I'm going to open the reservoir for the brake fluid. So you want to take this little cover out here, which has got two clips on the sides. If we open those clips, you'll be able to take this cover out. There's two clips on the sides, and there's also this little bit of rubber here which sits on top of this. I'll show you the bit of rubber. This bit here usually fits on top of that. And so you just need to push it back and then take that cover out, and that reveals your brake fluid reservoir here. So if you open that and leave it open, but just again leave it, just leave the cover on top. You can also see how much brake fluid you have. If you shine a light or something, I can see this one, it's just below the max there. So I wouldn't just top this up, because the pads, as the pads wear out, the fluid goes down a little bit. So when we replace the pads, we're going to push this the pistons on the calipers back, which will push the fluid back up. If we top this up during the course of the pads wearing out, when you have to change the pads, and this is at the max up here, then when you push the pistons, that fluid will come out of here and it will drip all around. So if that has happened, then I would recommend you to put some paper or some rags around here to absorb the fluid, because that fluid can be, this fluid can be a bit corrosive, and it would drip down onto your inner wing here and other bits of pipes, and even the brake fluid, the brake servo there. So yeah, so once you've done that, you open that, we can get the car up, remove the front wheels, and I'm hoping you know how to remove your front wheels. Just get your locking wheel nut and a 17mm socket will remove those, and then we can tackle the brakes. Okay, so I'm going to do this this side. In this case, this is the passenger side of the front, and the reason I'm going to show you this side is because we have the brake sensor here as well, that I'm going to replace, because it's already getting worn in there. So I will be changing it as well, and it's just a matter of following the wire and disconnecting it from all these clamps. Not really anything special. However, the other side doesn't have a sensor, so just in case you were wondering how to tackle the side with sensor, this is more or less how I'm going to do it. So just need to disconnect sensor from all the little clamps, and that sensor goes up into this box here, which you can just open the clips, open it and take it out. And we also need to disconnect it from here. And obviously make sure you order a sensor if you do change yours. So I just need to get that out of there, but I may need my two hands, or I may be able to push it from here. Okay, yeah, there we are. That's what we have there. So then we need to press on this little clip here and separate the sensor. For that, I will definitely need my 2 hands. Also, notice that I turn the wheel so this caliper can face me a little bit more, and that way I have better access to the bolts at the back here that we need access to. Those have some little dust covers we need to remove. You can just pop them out like that. Didn't want to drop it, and I dropped it. And there's another one there. And then we have obviously the sensor here, because I'm going to put a new one. I'm not really too bothered if I break it, but basically we're gonna pull it out of there in a minute. It's not really interfering at the moment, so we're gonna pull it in a minute. We need to remove this spring, and also we need to loosen the Allen bolts that are in those holes in there where we just removed the dust covers. And the Allen key that goes in there is a size 7. So a size 7 goes in there. And you can loosen those. And when you loosen that, you will feel that these are not tight at all. So when you retighten this, remember not to use too much force. Because I don't know, off memory, I don't know what the torque for that is. I'll try to look it up. And also we're going to use a screwdriver before I remove these two to wedge. I'm going to wedge it against the caliper and the disc, and I'm just going to push the piston back. So this piston here, I want to push it back in. That piston is touching the pad there. So that's what I'm doing by wedging that in there. Just be careful that if it slips like that, it doesn't slip on your face. So anyway, you can see how that piston is going back. And we have our spring here as well. This spring, not hard to remove. I normally press it onto one end and then release these bits here. If I can get my screwdriver in there. Okay. Right. Or there, it's just a matter of popping that bit out there. Okay, so that is popping out, but the camera is focusing on my hand, of course. Same with this one. Just pop them out and then release the tension there of the spring. And it's a similar way which we're going to fit them back in. So once you've done that and you fully push this back, so I just want to make sure I kind of push this back as much as I can. Sometimes if you can't push it anymore, and you see your piston out a little bit, we may need to use a another tool to just press it in. But see, I'm just trying to separate the pad from the piston and see if I can push that piston in a little bit more, but maybe not. It's gone as far as I think it will go at the moment. So let's take this bolt out. So that one's already out. So ideally, you don't have to remove this until you take in your spring and push this back. Since I did take it out, that's why this was a bit wobbly and giving me a bit of a hard time there. And another thing to be just careful is not to drop your caliper. Once you take it out, because we want to be careful with this hose. So sometimes if the little bolt is not coming out, sometimes you unscrew it and it just remains in there. You can just push it back and push it out. Let's take it out a bit more. Okay. Now I'll push it a bit out. And you can take this out actually. I normally take them out and give them a bit of a clean as well, because a lot of dirt builds up on them, and then they become a little bit hard to slide in and out. Sometimes so much dirt builds up on them that the caliper starts applying the brake a little bit unevenly. So it's just a good idea to give them a little wipe anyway. Even we can wire brush them and that dust comes out. Now I can remove these, but before I remove that, I'm actually going to unplug my sensor up here. Okay, that sensor, just sort of remember how it goes. It goes sort of in between the anti-rollback link there. And there it is. Now we can take this out. If it will let us. This pad is a little bit stuck onto the caliper, but I'm just going to separate it. Okay, there we are. And pull that out completely. You can actually just take it out like this if you didn't want to disconnect it at this end. You can take the opportunity to get your wire brush and perhaps give this a clean. Just wear a mask and goggles if you can. So sometimes bits jump out of here as you clean it and they go straight into your eyes. sometimes I have to follow my own advice. I usually wear my goggles, but just giving you a quick example here of what I'm doing. So basically that's what I'm going to do. Give that a wire brush. I'm not going to touch this side too much with my wire brush, because this wire brush can sometimes rip this rubber cover here. So if you start doing that a bit too hard, it might rip your dust cover that covers this piston, basically. So I'm going to wire brush that. Okay, so be careful also with your caliper. If you put it up there or so, just be careful it doesn't fall down from there, because we're trying to take care of this hose here. Don't want to bend it too much, don't want to put too much strain on it. So I'm just leaning that there carefully. You could also put a bit of iron, a metal string, and hang it up here. Maybe a cable tie or something through there. Hang it there. Normally I would do that if I was changing the discs as well. So then we want to wire brush this as well. This area here. So just wire brush the area as clean as you can. This isn't too bad. I mean, this car is only done 40,000 miles, so that's why it's not terribly corroded or much dust built up on it. Plus, I must admit, I washed this with water before putting it on the ramp. So, like I said, just wire brush these areas. These are the areas where the pads slide in and out, or well, they start sliding in as you press the brakes. So we just want to clean it a little bit, get rid of any excess corrosion or rust or whatever. And then you also have these bits, as I said, these bits here. You can brush them a bit. You will see how that comes out. That black stuff comes out from there. So I will do that with this one and the other one, and then we'll get back to it. And obviously clean these and my caliper. So I just got delivery of the pads. These are the ones I'm using, Duratech. Don't really know too much about this make, to be honest, but this is what I got. That's the part number there, JCP 4191. It says BMW E90, E91, E93. Clearly X1 as well. So I also have the brake sensor here for BMW X1. That's the part number there, BWR5181. So that's my sensor there. And again, we just need to run it along as it came out. So I may just put that down here as it was, and then you can plug this. You can't really plug them wrong because they can only fit one way. So if it doesn't fit one way, it will fit the other. That's in. And then obviously you can just put it in there push it into that, into there, those hooks up there. It will fit. There we are. It's gone in there, and then you can close that little cover. And as I said, you need to run it along the connections that it came out. That bit will go in there, and then we have this bit going into the other side. So I have a little bit of copper grease here, really not a lot. Just putting a little bit there, a little bit here, very tiny amount. Just along the area where the pad slides. If you get a little bit of it onto the disc, then rotate the disc and clean it. You don't really want any grease on your disc. Got a new pad, fit in there. And the other pad, we need to plug it into the Caliper. So I'm gonna try and get this stuck somewhere. Okay, so just before trying to fit my pad, I'm gonna make sure this piston is all the way in using one of these massive keys here. So I can see that piston going in a bit more. There we are. So it pretty much goes in until it's quite flat with the dust cover there. And I wanted to do it that before, because otherwise I'm going to fit in the pad, and then it will, and then I'll have to remove it to try and to push that back in. So I'll put a little bit of copper grease along this ring here. Don't need to go mad on the copper grease. And then we need to push this in. It's kind of spring loaded, so just have to push that in there. Like so. And then again, another bit of copper grease I'm gonna put in this pad, just on the sides there. Now we can slide our caliper in place. Like so. So just slide it in there, push it in a little bit. These bits will go into the back of that pad there, and here, the bits of the caliper. And we're pretty much getting there, really. So as I said, I clean this, push them in into their respective areas there. Sometimes they can be a little bit stubborn to go in, but they do go in there. Now you just need to line it up with the hole that is there where this goes into. And sometimes you have to push the caliper while you try to line that up, because sometimes gives you a bit of a hassle. In this case, it looks like it might be going in without drama. Yep. And we'll do the same with the bottom one here. So everything will be a lot easier with two hands, of course. But that is going in smoothly. And that's reached a point where I can't turn it anymore, so I'll just pull a little bit more on that, and that's pretty much it. I will not be forcing it like mad. So again, that's really easy, going really easy. It'll come a point where it's not easy anymore and it gets stuck, and then you pull a little bit more, and that's it. No dramas there. Put the little dust covers. And we are done. Then we just need to, we have a clamp around the back here to put your, clamp your cable in. Just like the old one was. And then run it along. And then you're gonna push it in there, in that groove of the pad. So just push it and you will feel it clicking into position. Don't force it too much if it's not going in, because this can snap. Now I found that this supplier brake fit are quite good. They smoothly fit in and everything goes along really well. Some other suppliers, these are not very good. It's really hard to push them in. Then you break them and whatnot. But lately, I have been my suppliers been bringing me this make, and it's been quite good, I must admit. Now, the spring. I will put these ends first. And then, but I'm gonna get my flathead screwdriver there. So let's okay, so to get this spring in there, I'm just gonna put it in there with the tips just a little bit on there. And then I'm gonna try and get my screwdriver in here, so I can push on this. Okay, just put it at an angle there. And then we should be able to press that spring in. And that's it. Spring is in. just make sure these bits are in and locked. This spring kind of pulls the caliper in on this end. And we're pretty much done here. So I'm going to finish the other side now and then lower the car and check the brake fluid, and then we can reset the computer as well. So don't forget to fit your tires back on. Okay, so now we can have a look at our brake fluid reservoir here, and I can see that the fluid is gone back up a little bit, but not too much. But you can see it's quite full here, but it's above the max, a little bit above the max in there, but it's not dripping out of here. But you can see it's gone up. So okay, so before I close that completely, I'm gonna pump the brake a couple of times. You will feel the pedal a bit soft, like it goes in all the way until it goes hard, and that's just because the calipers are closing as we open them, and they are measuring, obviously accommodating. And then we can go ahead and close this. Let's go ahead and close it, and you can put, obviously you could try and clean the area a little bit, and you can then put your cover back in there, 2 clips on the sides and that bit there. So it's not a difficult one. I'm going to close it in a minute. I'm gonna clean it a little bit. But to finish off the video, we are going to reset the brake pad. The computer allows me here, so gonna get that on, and then I'm going to go into, so you have this button here. If you get the car started and you press this button and hold it, that triangle will come up, and then the service menu will come up. Then you can release it, and then with this key go to whatever you may need to reset. In this case is the front brake pads have been replaced, so I want to reset that. So press this once and it says reset, so then press and hold, and it will, then you can release it and it will start resetting as we just changed those pads. Now the reason that was reading, I don't know what it was, 23,000 or something, or 2,300, it really depends. Sometimes people don't forget to reset the computer after they've done the job. So if you forget to do it because the reminder is not coming up yet, then the reminder will come up halfway through you wearing your pads. So anyway, that's pretty much it as far as changing the front pads. So I hope this video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, and also drive carefully the first few miles as your pads need to wear into the disc. So yeah, just be careful with that. So anyway, hope the video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.